there, welcome to my channel, Cutie and Cosplay. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the 1v4 multiplayer Evil Dead. Confidence. I'm going to be looking at my notes again today, just like last video, because I think that video was good time. That's like the perfect time what I wanted. You can give me feedback too if you like shorter or longer videos. I'm always up for constructive criticism, thank you. So I played the game Evil Dead and I didn't know too many of the characters, and as I played more I got more interested in the history behind it and, like, you know, all the movies associated that came before it. And I watched Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. I liked them all. And then I watched the TV show, and I'm still working through the Netflix series, but I'm really liking it. And it gives me more appreciation for the characters I'm playing, which I like. So yeah, that's a tiny bit of my history with it. My very short history with Evil Dead. So getting into the game, when I first started, I just picked Kelly without knowing any of these characters. I really liked the way she looked, so I just went based off the looks. Didn't even think about classes, didn't even really know that classes were a thing. I just went with her, level 1 Kelly, first game, and then my games weren't going so well. And that's because I barely knew anything. I didn't know enough about the game to do well, and the things that I did learn basically came from YouTube videos, looking up how to build your character and what to do, and I just started the game super useless. And so when being Hunter Kelly didn't work out that well for me, I switched to my usual role in games like this, which was support. I played Cheryl and it went pretty well. I was able to learn the game in an easier role than Hunter because I think that's a lot. It's basically ADC and League. You just need to put in a lot of work, you need to put in a lot of damage, and you need to know what you're doing. Where support, health bar gets low, you drink your shemps, and it's all good. So I've been playing this game for a little while now, and I'm really enjoying it. Overall, I've had a pretty fun experience. I think in this video though, I think my main point in making this was to give my constructive criticism on what I think could make the game better. So that's going to be the majority of this video. So personally, I think that with this, the recent patch that they put in, the recent changes to the game that Saber did, I think they went a little bit too hard on the survivor nerfs, and I think that in the future I'd like to see them take more baby steps when it comes to buffs and nerfs. I think this was too much of a push and pull. One was too strong, one was too weak, and now it's just flipped the other way where one's too strong and one's too weak. And I think it'd be more helpful to have more of a balance. So obviously, anyone that plays this game, Evil Dead, recently, anyone that's been playing it in the past week or so, you would know that the puppeteer is very, very strong. A very, very strong demon. He's the only demon that feels really overpowered right now. It's the only demon that I've seen be able to win the game in less time than it takes to actually get in a match. That's pretty crazy. And to make things worse, every time a puppeteer downs someone early in the game, it usually just makes people give up or disconnect, and that's not really a fun game for anybody. So the rest of the demons feel strong too, but they definitely feel a little more fair playing against them. Most of them need to be at least level 5 to start killing survivors, so it gives you a little more time to look for weapons and get some supplies. I would say too that some survivors feel pretty weak, and they could use some buffs, just the leader class as a whole, and hunters too. Some small buffs, nothing huge that would make Survivor's too strong again, but again, like the little baby steps like I was talking about, I think both leaders and hunters could use some work right now. So first, I think a change that would help with this gap would be letting new players start with enough points to at least get one character to 25. It feels awful to say because just like not that long ago I was a person who was like getting into a match level 1, but as a more experienced and more knowledgeable player now, it's not that enjoyable to be matched up with somebody level 1 who's maybe learning the game by themselves, and I personally don't use microphones or feel that comfortable with them, so it's a little harder to communicate with that teammate what exactly you need them to do or what they can do. And more importantly, the demon is going to get a lot of levels. On this level 1 person, it is very hard to protect someone else, even if you're perfect at the game. You can't really make up for your teammates that much. It's kind of just everyone for themselves, but you can try to support and help each other. I think another thing that would really help with this gap is putting more information next to players' health bars. Like it would be nice to see how many shemps or amulets everyone's holding, and also the amount of ammo that people are holding would be really useful for hunters. I also think that it would be helpful to see what weapons each player has, maybe some kind of icon somewhere showing, because that way the team can see what kind of gun the hunters have, so that you can get different ammo from your hunter. I've definitely experienced games where the hunter starts out with a shotgun and I pick up a revolver, and then we get separated for a few minutes for whatever reason, and the hunter shows up with a revolver, and now I'm wasting handgun ammo that I could have avoided if I'd just seen a little icon and I could have switched guns. I also think that there should be punishment for disconnecting in a game. It's just happening way too much when players die, and you're planning on going to get them, but you have to deal with a bunch of other things first before you try to go save their soul or revive them, and they just choose to disconnect rather than wait in the game, and usually it's because they're way far away from you because they didn't stick with the team, so that's frustrating. There should definitely be punishment for someone leaving a game and then you're just left 3 people to try and take on a demon, and you're probably going to lose unless they're a low-level demon, so that's not great. I also think that there should be some sort of mechanic in place that gives priority of epic or legendary weapons to the correct class, because there's just been way too many times that someone, maybe they are level 25, but they still don't care to read up on anything or know that just because it's legendary doesn't mean that you want it, and that you should give it to someone else on your team because they will be able to benefit you better. It's really unfortunate when you find that rare legendary weapon, or someone finds that legendary chest before you and they, the support takes away the legendary gun that your hunter could have done massive damage with and won you the game. Or if a hunter takes away a legendary weapon, just legendary melee weapon, that's really unfortunate too. Another thing that would be useful would be information on players in the lobbies when you're setting up, choosing your characters. It would be nice to see how often someone DCs or win rates that they have with that particular character. If there was someone that wanted my character, like my Cheryl or my Mia, I play Mia, just any of my characters, and I see that they have a higher win rate than me, then I would be happy to let them have my character if it means that they're going to be able to be a stronger part of the team. There's just been some really unfortunate times where I'll hover over Cheryl and then someone else does the same, and I want to be nice and I'm like, oh, okay, sure, you can play Cheryl, and then they just end up, they didn't want a player to support, they're just one of those people who wants to carry 8 shemps and keep themselves alive only and only drink the Shemps when they're low health, so, and far away from the team, so that's not great. It'd be nice to see. It would just nice to have, like, be given some idea of how somebody does. Again, win rates, how much they disconnect, things like that. Last thing that I'd like to see fixed would be the skill tree. I would say either let people pick and choose what perks they want, or reorganize the order of some of the perks. Like, for example, putting all the defensive perks in the same row and all the attack ones in another. Some of them just don't make sense currently. Like, for example, if I want to build a two-handed weapon build for my warrior, I need to waste points into single-handed weapons to get to what I actually want and what will actually be helpful to me. At this point, it seems like everyone just chooses the same perks, builds their skill tree a very similar way because some perks are useless or they're weak, and you just have to waste points to get to something that you want. So you just kind of copy the most efficient path that makes the most use of the points you have. And I just think, like, you know, who really here wants more matchsticks? So my final thoughts on Evil Dead the game. I've been having a lot of fun, but I would say that it's too hard for new players to get into. There just isn't enough information to help you understand your role and strengths in game. Like, the only way I knew any of this about, like, how well a survivor does with or how well a support does with a melee weapon and a gun, and how well a hunter does with a melee weapon and a gun. Those things I learned by looking up YouTube videos that other people have done. When I started playing the patch before, I was actually going to quit playing after just a couple days because it felt too hard playing against a human demon without all that information. I didn't have it at the time, and it just felt too easy or boring playing against a bot. And it really wasn't until I watched videos on Evil Dead that I understood that being low level meant I was really at a disadvantage. Like, there I was playing a hunter at level 10, I was playing Kelly, and I was just trying to melee everything. Like, no wonder I was losing and making a ton of mistakes, like shooting my gun in the beginning, or getting into a car right at the beginning of the match, and letting the demon know where I was. I didn't even know that stuff alerted the demon. I just really hope that Saber can fix some of these issues that have really been hurting the survivor side of the game. The demons have been buffed now, and it seems like they're having a lot more fun than they were before. And I don't think that should change. It should be fun for both of them, but I think it just needs a little bit more balance the other way now, kind of even out the scale. And hopefully they'll give survivors a little more information when they're starting out, and just some other small tweaks so that you can really play as a team, even if you're solo, or if you're in a match made and somebody else is solo with you. I just really hope that it can become more of a team game, no matter where you're coming from or who you're grouped up with. Yeah, I just want to see survivors helping each other out more. Alright, so if you stayed this long, thank you so much. I would guess if you're watching this video, you have been playing the game, or maybe you just like the series. Either way, let me know in the comments what you think of the series, or what you think of the game, or anything, what you think about what I said. Just give me your comments. I read them all. I like them. Thank you.